I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 shooters ready to gun you down.
Look, we got to get to the Nasdaq, we got to get to the S&P 500, but most of all, we got to get to what's happening here in the market. What is going to give us the money? What is going to be the next opportunity? We told you going into this week, into last week, the ascending triangle, AI, we want to get tech, semiconductors. We're reaching all new highs, boys and girls. And let me tell you, the show is just getting started. Now, when we jump into this, let's talk specifically about the chart and where we're at. And we look specifically at the Nasdaq and the ES. Now, first, I want to talk about ES on the daily and the 4 hour. We talked about the pennant that you had kind of going on here. We had the clear breakup today. Now, when we get a little bit more information, let me zoom out really quick for you to something like the weekly, because it paints the best picture. The downtrend, we clearly been out of that since, roughly January. We've been testing this range, and you can see we're really close. And now I would say we are borderline broken out of this. Borderline, very, very close. You look at Nasdaq, which is ultimately what you've wanted to be going long on. We don't want to go long on like oil or energy in the short term, specifically, or banks, or anything that's really at risk or moving slow, like industrials. It was tech. Tech was the name, right? And so when we look here at what's happening, on the Nasdaq, it's clear as day, right? There's no question about it, right? The daily ascending triangle, we broke above 13.3, 13.4. What was our next target? 13.74. Posted on Twitter again today. You broke above that as well. I mean, even going through these levels, it's just time and time again, you continue to do, this breakout, contrary to what popular belief is. All on Twitter, all on social media, all in the comments of my videos lately, it's been, bears, bears, bears. And I get it. I understand the downside thesis, but I'm going to tell you where you want to short the market is really clear. Because if we look back, and I'm going to tell you this right now, even if I'm looking at upside here, where all this downside stemmed from, what happened? What was the understanding of each of these major drops in the market? What happened? What happened? Big, bad inflation news. What has not happened since October? We had a little bit of it, beginning of February, but what hasn't happened since way back here? There's been no bad inflation news. Again, it's been stagnant. They've talked about pausing. The debt ceiling continues to be the major narrative. We talked about that yesterday. We said what was probably going to happen today. And, this is what's propelling you to these levels right now. Now, again, Powell, I believe he's supposed to be speaking tomorrow, but it's him on a panel, so you don't have any guarantees. He's not scheduled for a normal speech, so we need to understand that. He may speak tomorrow. I don't have enough information on it, okay? I'm not going to lie to you. Today, it was my son's graduation from like kindergarten today, so he's going to be moving into like first grade. Something crazy, I don't know. I'm just the dad who shows up, right? Take pictures, smile, carry him, give him more money, I guess. I don't know. That's what I do. Moral support, right? And so you're pushing up, you're breaking up, you love it. ES, again, I mean, if you hold 4,200 here, you're going places. I'm going to tell you right now. If you hold 4,200, you look incredible. Now, before we jump into everything else in the video, I want to ask you to consider doing two things. Liking and subscribing helps out the channel tremendously, but I only ask to do that if you think that we are providing value to you. If you do not think that you're getting any value, then I encourage you to unsubscribe. Don't like the video. Don't subscribe. I only want people to be here that truly feel like they're getting value here from the channel every single day. Also, if you are interested, the Discord link is down below so you can check it out. If you are interested in joining and getting around like-minded individuals like yourself, wanting to trade, understand how to trade, what stocks to be looking at, everything in between, and giving you a visual just here on the day for what we were looking at. Now, today specifically, going into Discord, what were we looking at? And again, I show what they show. I don't even like to highlight my wins because those might be considered lying or manipulated or this or that. I show my losses in particular when people want to see those because I think obviously I'm not going to make up my losses. But yeah, so you can see this is all today. We had, 20% winner here on Riot. We talked about that with Nick today. Congrats. I actually answered that question personally. You had NVIDIA, a big runner. We've been talking about AI and what's happening with semiconductors. Clearly, Meta, this was my personal favorite play today. I thought, yeah, as you can see here. And then again, Meta again, but Meta continued to run even more than that. So you would have made more. Netflix, another big one. Tesla. So this is all just from today. So again, now I want people to understand when you're joining Discord, when you're getting into Discord, don't join for signals, join to get educated. The people that actually perform in there are the ones that put in the work and, are actively getting better every single day. The ones that sit there just for signals tend to lose because they have no risk management and they don't really know what they're doing. So again, I think it comes to the point of you got to be willing to put in the work. And everyone that puts in work, from my viewpoint, hasn't had too many complaints. Now, what are we looking at here? What are we looking for here? I think all eyes right now are going to be here on ES. I think that's where our focus needs to be. I think that's it. I think this is very big here. ES, if you continue to hold above this local level of like 4208, 4209, I do believe you're going to start working your way back easily, very easily tomorrow if this continues, like this trend where we just continue to go up and you can hold above this previous high you've had here back in February. I believe with ease, I cannot say it as many times, with ease, people, you're going to start moving into 42.55. I'm talking, it's going to be easy. It's going to cut through like butter. If we can hold above 42.09 going into tomorrow, I believe very easily 42.50. And then ultimately we're looking for around 4,300, 42, 43.2. Now, Nasdaq, again, like Nasdaq is like, whew, muy caliente, muy caliente. Muy caliente. As you look at what's happening here, clear, ascending triangle breakout, absolute face ripper. Where are we above now? This was Jackson Hole back here, and then this was August highs. Okay, this is almost a year ago, 12 months ago. Remember this? These days, boom. This was a massive level to get above. But what I'm going to tell you right now is here on the daily, here on the 4-hour, I do believe this area that we're coming into is going to be, it's going to get tough. Okay, this is a pretty big area that we're coming into. I hate to mark out the whole zone, but really, I mean, you have to mark at least like there. So almost like 13.95 into like 14.3 is going to be a pretty big level. We consolidated here for like 7 days, and then we just tanked. So this is going to be a very big level to watch. So I'm definitely going to be watching this specifically and vigilantly. 14,000 is coming in a hurry. I'm very surprised in how quickly we pushed above 13.7. I want that to be known, but it's very clear here that the momentum is to the upside. Now, again, if you were here on last Friday, what did we say? Last Friday, this was our candle, right? The 12th. Go watch that. I implore you to watch that video, right? I implore you to go back, watch this video right here. Don't miss Monday. Now, again, you might say, well, Tyler, the clickbait says downside. Well, again, if you don't put in the work and you don't watch the video, I don't really care. This channel is not catered to people to be spoon-fed in anything along those lines. It's in here. The channel encourages people and rewards people for putting in work. And when you realize what we said here is this candle right here is an incredibly bullish candle. Even though it was red, it was holding previous highs that we'd established that we just kind of were just wicking off of. You mounted Monday, you got your clear answer, engulfed above that, and it's just been nothing but upside since. And you still look strong. It still looks like to me, you want continuation, ladies and gentlemen. It looks tough. It looks incredible. I'm an absolute fan of what I'm seeing here. Okay, so as we're moving on the Nasdaq, you still look really good. But I'm going to tell you right now, this level coming up here, it's not small. You can see we clearly trended here for like 7 some odd days. It was definitely a tough one, right? This was a tough level. But again, even above that, I mean, we really look good. Okay, I want to express that as much as possible. Now, what I want to tell you though real quick before we jump into detailed on stocks and other things along those lines, we've already gone to ES as well. Okay, just listen for a sec. This is all happening pretty fast, okay? I'm in agreement, okay? Because a handful of stocks have reached highs, almost all-time highs. Like, for instance, a big name we were mentioning here on the channel, AVGO, Broadcom, you actually made new 52-week highs here on the day, breaking into them. Okay, semiconductor name, right? Monster run. You broke back into all-time highs, right? NVIDIA, you are getting close. You are getting dangerously close to those levels, right? You mount 300. Everyone said, "Oh, this is a trap." Guess what happened? You kept going, right? People were saying, "Tyler, you're looking to go long on NVIDIA. You're at highs, right? The PE ratio, this, that." Well, guys, I'm just saying, you gotta be able to react to what the market's giving you. And when we look at what it's giving us, it was giving us a lot of signals that highs were coming. AMD. We said $100 was coming, right? We posted it was all on Twitter. It was all in detail, right? Go to Twitter, right? I gave you a whole thread on Twitter about what was going to happen with AMD. I want to be really clear about that, right? You can go into the pictures and go see, all this information. We put it all there for you so you're ready. Right here, SPY looking tough, nice pennant going to February. Tech looks strong as hell. This was May 15th, right? All this stuff is on Twitter for you, so you're all ready. Meta, ascending triangle showing strength. Call for the Discord. 2:38 is when we called this. on May 15th as well. This is all free information as well. All this is free. I want this to be known. This is just on Twitter. I just share my opinion, what I'm looking at here. Okay? And so when we go and you look, I mean, I don't know what else to tell you, but you have lots. I mean, AMD, again, absolutely beautiful. You loved what you were seeing. So we had all this information showing you guys, but you continue to do that. So I encourage you guys, before we go any further, I cannot say it enough. People specifically on this platform as YouTube, their primary goal is to get clicks. The primary goal is to clickbait. And I will say that that is the one thing that I think I'm 100% guilty of, is clickbaiting, but it's just a part of the process. But when you're inside these videos, I try to be as honest and transparent as possible when it comes to any stock play and what I'm looking at. And that's why when people say, hey, Tyler, I want to see your position, I can clearly show them my position every single time. There's never been a case in which I couldn't show you on Twitter or show you on Discord or anything like that. But what I want to say, though, is a lot of people say things and they might not be educated on them, or they might not really know the full story. So when you're doing this, and this goes for even you watching my channel, you need to be doing your research on every trade you're taking. You need to be doing your research before you take a bias to a certain position to the downside. Over the past 3 weeks, it's been nothing but bears out there. Everybody. And I get it. I don't think inflation's handled. I think pausing could even be somewhat premature. I don't think it's necessarily the best thing for the economy ever. I also think the debt ceiling is just kicking the can down the road. But I'm going to tell you, though, there were signs pointing to the upside. Okay? And when we look at the signs that would have pointed us to the downside, those just didn't show up. And we talked about the signs to be looking for there. So I want you to encourage you guys to start taking responsibility for what you're doing. It's taking responsibility for your positions, taking responsibility for your investments, and taking responsibility for everything in your life at the end of the day. Because at the end of the day, no one really cares. I'm going to tell you right now. The guy you watch on YouTube, he doesn't care if you lose. He cares if you show back up the next day, hit the like button, and ultimately give him more views and give him more clicks. We've seen ups and downs here on the channel for maybe being too upfront, maybe being a little bit condescending or rude sometimes. But one thing you're always going to get here on the channel is the God's honest truth and how I view the market. You're never going to see me waver. If I'm wrong, I come out, I show my loss, say I lost, we move on to the next one. But that's the beauty of, in my opinion, the community that we've built here, is that it's built on transparency and honesty. It's not about coming out and flexing and saying, oh, I made more money than you. Yes, today was cool. We had a great rally. We had a great run. It was a good day overall for my family, for Discord, for you, hopefully, right? I like to have fun, put the cowboy hat on. You guys love it, whatever, right? But you're never going to see me come out here, throw my $20,000, $30,000 I made and say, woo, you suck, right? I encourage you guys, 1% better every single day, people. Remember that, 1% better. Now let's go over some stocks that we're liking. Now, number one, into tomorrow, big fan of Apple. I'm going to tell you right now, people aren't going to like this. It is what it is. Apple, in my opinion, I kind of been talking about it. I've been talking about it a lot. Here on the 2 hour and the 4 hour, you can really see what's happening. It's the same pattern. People keep saying they want to go short on Apple. It doesn't make a lot of sense to me. You can clearly see the flag that you had been forming over the past few days, giving you a visual as well. And I encourage you guys to look back at the past. Very, very similar. Now, some of these are a little bit more vertical or, compared to some of the other flags that we're getting. But overall, very clear in the pattern you're forming over and over and over. Consolidate, push, consolidate, push. Guess what happened? Consolidate, you get a push, okay? So looking at Apple, I'm going to tell you right now, targets in the short term up to 176, but I do believe Apple is going to make a run for all-time highs. I'm just going to tell you right now. If, again, what are the things we're looking for to see continuation to the upside? Now, overnight, I'm going to tell you right now, I'm not a huge fan of holding positions unless they're deep in the money. I mentioned to you guys that I got QCOM stock a few days ago, and I mentioned that I got in the money Amazon calls, right? So giving you an example too in Discord, right? Showing you those and just giving you background and exactly those positions. Jay's been updating it nonstop, right? Those are at $28. They're actually probably over that now. And then he also hedged them as well for his. Mine are just straight up 105s in the money for 2025 January. But those are absolutely ripping as well. Those are the only things I'm really comfortable with, something that's really, really dated and a company I think that was undervalued. And I think Amazon still is kind of undervalued. So that's where we're at there. But again, what do we want to see? You want to see just hold above 209 on ES. You hold above 209, you have continuation up to around 40. I think I said 42.55 is your next level. NQ into 1400 flat, 14,000 flat. That's your next target. I'm just telling you now. You want to see you hold above 13.75. That's about it there. And that's what we're looking at specifically. Now, a few days ago, I told you about the cloud sector. I still like the cloud sector, but right now you have to be really careful with names that you're picking because obviously everything's just running highs. But I want to keep highlighting this sector. If we continue to get love with tech, AI, innovation, semiconductors, I believe the cloud sector is the closest thing to those companies. I think that they got hit very hard. If we're looking, again, I'm looking at value and I'm looking at what's going to, return to value as soon as possible. Okay, so we look at names like CRM Salesforce, right? You had highs back at 300, 310. You look at CrowdStrike, you had big highs up here near 299. You go to Snow. These are the same names I mentioned the other day, right? Everyone remembers, right? Since that day, you've obviously, you've broken out 172 here on CrowdStrike. I mean, actually Snow, I think you were a little bit like 165. You're pushing up. Snow's trying to get in the AI game. CrowdStrike also pushing up from 133 and breaking out from 141. You looking for almost 150 now. It looks absolutely incredible. CRM also breaking out very strong. Looking for 220, 221 was the target there. So I want to continue to say, I like the cloud sector as long as tech keeps running. Again, you want to focus on I say this all the time. Focus on the indexes because they will provide your direction. You don't want to stray away from the indexes. The indexes are your best friend. Now, I still love semiconductors, NVIDIA, AVGO, QCOM, I think is the biggest value right now of a stock. Even if you're just buying long-term, I think it's beautiful. I love it. One of the best opportunities I posted on Twitter as well. But I'm just not as crazy because you've had such a really nice run on AMD, almost $30 here. You go back, or $20, sorry. And then you go back to something like NVIDIA, which has gone just, parabolic. And then you look at AVGO and all these other names. You had the opportunity. I'm sorry, but you did, right? LRCX, we posted about this in the YouTube video as well. We went from 531 over the past 3-4 days into $600. We've talked about all these. So you have to be able to understand where you may have missed your opportunity and where you need to move on to in order to preserve your capital and your strategy. It's not all about rushing into plays here. Got to have a plan, people. Have a plan and find sectors that you like right now. Again, I'm going to tell you though, unless you hold 4209 on ES, that's my biggest thing right now. I think that's what you get. ES, Nasdaq is overrun over ES. They're completely disconnected right now. If you do not hold 4209 on the ES, S&P futures, I am not necessarily looking to go long right now, right? Unless you already have a long position. If you hold 4209 to the upside, can only say it so many times. I'm going to have to clip this because I know people are going to say I didn't say it. If you hold this level, 4209, you are bullish into 4255 and then to 4300. That's my viewpoint. That's my that's my take here. I'll see you tomorrow. Have a good one, traders.